Night around 1:23 am. The sky had turned violent and it was raining cats and dogs outside. The occasional boom of thunder was making the glass vibrate slightly. You lay curled up lightly on your small bed, wrapped in a blanket. Your face was flushed while your body was shivering, not just from the cold but from the rising fever and the deep rooted fear of thunderstorms you never quite outgrew. Another sharp crack of lightning streaked across the sky. You flinched violently, a small sob escaping your lips. You tried muffling it in the blanket, but your body wouldn't stop trembling. On the other bed across the room, Jungkook was asleep. His one arm was lazily thrown over his chest, while his breathing was soft and even until your whimpers stirred him. His brows furrowed and he slowly sat up. The second he looked over at you, he noticed something was not right. Your blanket was trembling, you were curled like a kitten. Your face was pale and lips dry. He swung his leg off the bed and walked over to you quietly. Wyan? Your red watery eyes peeked out from under the blanket, but you couldn't even answer. Your throat burned and your whole body felt like fire. Jungkook reached out and touched your forehead. His eyes widened. Hey, you are burning up. Without wasting another second, he turned around and yanked open the drawer beside his bed, searching frantically for any fever medicine, but found none. Ugh, he muttered under his breath. He grabbed his hoodie from the chair and shoved his feet into the sneakers and stormed out of the room into the rain without an umbrella. He ran to the nearby medical store and bought the medicines and some buns with a small bottle of water. He ran hastily back to the hostel, fully drenched in the rain. His hair was plastered to his forehead, and his clothes were soaked, but he didn't care. He rushed to your side and gently shook your shoulder. Wyan, wake up. Come on, just a little. You slowly opened your eyes. Your cheeks were red crimson. You blinked in confusion. He sat beside you and opened the bun and handed it to you. Eat this first. You need something in your stomach before I give you medicine. Your hands shook as you held the bun. Jungkook brought the bottle to your lips. You looked at him, all wet hair, messy, eyes soft with worry, and blinked as if it was a dream. Why did you go out in such a heavy rain? He didn't answer right away. He just smiled while brushing a strand of your hair. Because you looked like you needed someone. After you finished eating, he helped you take the medicine, making sure you swallowed properly. Then, without asking, don't worry, just sleep tight. He murmured, his voice low and soothing. You didn't even have the strength to say something. You finally felt safe even as the thunder continued to rumble outside. The next morning, you stirred awake slowly, blinking at the unfamiliar ceiling before glancing down. Jungkook had was up. He was asleep, breathing softly. His face was calm and innocent, so unlike his usual smugness. His hair was still a bit damp, strands were falling over his eyes. The fever was gone. Your heart flustered at the memories of last night came rushing in. The way he ran through the rain, fed you, and stayed with you. You looked down at Jungkook sleeping like a cute bunny. You smiled, running your fingers through your hair. Maybe you are not that bad, Jungkook. But just then his eyes peeked open one by one. Caught you staring, he murmured sleepily. You gasped. Yay, you were awake? He grinned, his eyes still half closed. Just a little, but you look cute smiling like that. Your cheeks turned red in record time. Keep dreaming. You have turning your face away, Jungkook chuckled and standing up. He grabbed the towel and walked to the bathroom while humming a song. Suddenly you spoke. Hey, don't you have match today? Jungkook turned around and smiled. Don't worry, I won't let you go with Felix, he said and went to the bathroom. Time skipped. The sun hung in the sky, pouring golden light over the grassy football field. The stands were packed once again, and the students were buzzing with excitement for another match between Team A and Team B. Flags fluttered, cheers erupted, and the energy was electric. You sat in the crowd next to Hannah, Felix banner in your hand, waving in half-heartedly. Your lips smiled, but your heart was not on Team A today. Not really. You glanced down at the field, your eyes searched until they landed on Jungkook. He looked exhausted. There were dark circles under his eyes, his hair messier than usual, a sluggishness in his step that was not like him. You knew why. He had not slept last night. He had been taking care of you by applying wet cloth on your forehead so you never feel a fever again. There was fatigue in his body and now it was showing in his game. His passes were off, his defense low, and despite the crowd cheering for both teams, it was obvious that Team B was falling behind. You bit your lip, clutching the Felix banner tighter, not in sport but in guilt, and finally the final whistle blew. Team A had won this time. Cheers exploded around you. Ryan, your team won. Felix looked amazing. You smiled weakly and nodded, but your eyes were still on Jungkook. You were really feeling sad for him. He lost the match just because of you. He was standing on the field, his shoulders were slumped, sweat was glistening on his forehead. His eyes searched the stands until they found yours. After a while, Felix jogged over to you, all beaming smiles and flushed cheeks. His hair stuck to his forehead and his dimples were on full display. Ryan, I kept my promise. I won the match, he said excitedly. You opened your mouth, but nothing came out. From the corner of your eye, you saw Jungkook walking towards you, all sweaty and serious, his face unreadable. Your heart twisted. You turned back to Felix. I'm sorry, Felix. I can't. His smile faltered. What? I can't go on a lunch date with you because I already have feelings for someone else. You said softly, his smile slowly dropped. You bowed your head. You are amazing, Felix, truly, but it wouldn't be fair to fool you when my heart belongs to someone else. Felix stood frozen for a moment and then, with a weak, heartbroken smile, he whispered, I still hope you are joking. I hope you will accept me soon, he said and ran off towards the locker room. Not giving you a second to speak, you exhaled, turning to find Jungkook now standing just a few feet away. He stared at you, but unlike what you expected, there was no smirk, no cocky look. He licked his lips and finally spoke with voice low. Who is it? You blinked. Who? He looked down, kicked a small stone with his shoe, then raised his gaze back to you. The person you said you have feelings for. Who is it? Your cheeks flushed. You didn't answer. Instead, you turned around and walked off quietly with your heart pounding, leaving him confused behind. Time skipped a hostel. You sat on your bed with your dinner tray slowly, picking at the rice. Jungkook was on the other side, pretending to scroll through his phone, but barely even blinking. Ryan, his voice was now firm. You looked up. I want to know that. Whom do you like? You stared at him. He looked vulnerable and desperate. Your lips parted slightly. The way he held you during the thunderstorm, the way he ran in the rain just to get your medicine, the way he watched you on the field, exhausted but still looking for your eyes. Slowly you stood up and walked over to him. Jungkook eyes followed every step. Then without a word, you smiled. His eyes were filled with shock, wonder, and something else. You, it was always you. He sat frozen for a beat, then a crooked smirk tugged at his lips. Your cheeks flushed, heart racing. He looked into your eyes and whispered, You are mine. You smile. The next morning, the room was bathed in a soft sunlight as the golden rays streamed through the white curtains. Jungkook was still half asleep, one arm dangling off the side of his bed, his hair ruffled in every direction. Meanwhile, you were in the bathroom, water was running down your shoulder. The water droplet did nothing to calm the rising panic that suddenly crept over you. You looked around the foggy bathroom, not a thread of clothing in sight. You stood there wrapped in towel. You peeked open the bathroom door just a little. Jungkook was now sitting on the bed, rubbing his eyes. You cleared your throat. Jungkook, he looked up, rose furrowed. Can you, you hesitated, your cheeks burning. Pass me the clothes, they are on the desk. His sleepy eyes blinked slowly, then landed on the pile of neatly folded clothes you had forgotten. Oh, you forgot them, he said playfully. You hissed, peeking from the door. He stood up, walked to the desk, and picked up the doll. You sat smiling while extending your hand towards him. You narrowed your eyes dramatically, looking at him. But he fell on the floor. He winced dramatically. You should have not done this to me, he said, slowly walking out. You drama king, stop acting and make breakfast for me, you said loudly. Later in the classroom, you were seated by the window, pen twirling between your fingers, eyes secretly referring to Jungkook across the aisle. He was not looking at the board either. His gaze was flickering to you every time your eyes met. A small smile threatened to form. Hana noticed that. Why and what is going on? Why you both are exchanging looks? Your cheeks flushed pink. Nothing. Hana narrowed her eyes. Liar. Before you could reply, the classroom door burst open and Felix came in, flanked by two of his friends. He was smiling brightly, his blonde hair tousled in end, and he had a massive bouquet of red roses in his hand. Jungkook relaxed, posture straightened, his eyes narrowed while he marched right up to your desk. The whispers grew louder, and then he bent down on one knee. Why will you be my friend? He asked. His voice was confident. A collective gasp escaped through the classroom. Your eyes widened. You stood up slowly, heart thudding. Out of the corner of your eye, you saw Jungkook jaw clench, his hand balled into a fist. Your heart dropped. You took a deep breath and leaned slightly towards Felix, speaking softly but clearly. I already have a friend and I am really happy with him. I had already told you, Felix. Time stopped, Felix blinked. What? You turned around slowly, walking across the room, straight towards Jungkook, his brows furrowed. Why? You didn't let him speak. You gently took his hand in yours and turned to face the room. He is Jungkook. You announced, looking into his eyes. There was a dead silence, some jaw dropped. Some girls stared at you in envy. Felix stood up slowly, still holding the roses. Then he huffed, pouted, and turned around. The second most beautiful girl in the college. I'm done with this heartbreak today, he muttered to his friend. The girls looked at him shocked. You stared into Jungkook's warm eyes. You just, he whispered, blinking slowly. You grinned. Maybe I am warning you. You rolled your eyes playfully as whispering excitement buzzed all around the classroom. But for you and Jungkook, everything else faded away. After a few years, Jungkook was sitting on the couch wearing sweatpants and a messy ponytail, courtesy of his 4-year-old daughter who styled him. Meanwhile, you were chasing your 5-year-old son around the living room with a toothbrush in hand. Yoonji, I told you not to paint on the walls. Yoma, it is not paint, it is modern art, Jungkook snorted. He got that from you. You shoot him a look. Oh, really? What about the time he tried to climb the fridge like Spider Man to get banana milk? That was definitely you. You said, and you both chuckled, looking at your little peaceful world. At night, finally, both kids were asleep. The house was quiet. Jungkook came in the bedroom gently and turned to you with a hopeful grin. So, what about you talked about? You raised the bro, pulling the blanket up to your chin. You mean Operation Peaceful Time? He growled. Exactly. Suddenly, you both heard a loud bang on the door. Appa, Eoma, pick the bed. You both groaned in silence. Jungkook flopped back onto the pillow with a sigh. Third one might need to wait till 2030. You chuckled.